Hi folks, I'm Lo-Fi Nikita and this is Hater TV. I wanted to show you this book here called The Prosecution of George W. Bush for Murder. It's by Vincent Bugliosi, and I'm going to discuss his controversial theory about how Bush could be convicted of murder for causing the death of American soldiers in Iraq. This is the first of two videos on the subject. You probably know that Vincent Bugliosi convicted Charles Manson of murdering, I think it was 7 people in California many years ago. The signature aspect of that conviction being that Manson never set foot on the property where the murders were committed. Obviously, there's some similarity there with this case that Bugliosi proposes some attorneys general in the United States should prosecute against Bush. Bugliosi's theory of the case is simple and can be argued to be legally sound. Bush sent hundreds of thousands of American soldiers to conquer innocent Iraqis who responded in a foreseeable manner by killing as many American soldiers as they could. Thus, says Bugliosi, he is guilty of murdering those American soldiers and can be charged and convicted in every county throughout the 50 states from whence those American soldiers were seduced out of their homes and into uniform under false pretenses. Although Bush is immune from prosecution as long as he's in office, assuming no last-minute coup d'etat, he can be prosecuted when he leaves the sacred precincts of the White House. Charlotte Dennett, who was running for Attorney General in Vermont, made the campaign promise that she would prosecute the decider if elected. The incumbent, William Sorrell, said he doesn't believe a Vermont Attorney General would have the authority to charge Bush. The reality is, in my view, that unless the crime takes place in Vermont, then I, as the Attorney General, have no authority under Vermont law to be prosecuting the President, said Sorrell. This is where the legal discussion starts. It all starts with venue, a legal term of art that means the place where a criminal can be prosecuted, the place where the people have a right to sit in judgment, to convict and punish for crimes against the community. The insult and the injury sticks to a place, and only in that place can a murderer be tried. We've all heard of serial killers being hauled from state to state, standing trial in different places for different killings. Bugliosi argues that if someone induces another person to travel outside their home state to attack another person, who then kills them in self-defense, the person who provoked the victim to engage the other person in mortal combat can be convicted of murder in the victim's home state. In other words, if a young high school graduate sitting in his parents' house in California saw Bush on Fox News, believed the false statements that there were WMDs in Iraq and that they posed a threat to the United States, and got up and went down and enlisted in the Marines, then the inducements were projected into the forum state through the television, and venue would properly be established in California. Now that we know we can file the indictment in California, the question is whether there is a basis for alleging murder. Murder is the unlawful taking of human life with a culpable state of mind. In California, a person can be charged with murder if they act in a fashion that demonstrates reckless indifference to the value of human life. Would it be fair to say that inducing young Americans who are quietly sitting in their living rooms to take up deadly weapons and attack Iraqis in their homeland, would that manifest reckless indifference to the value of that young American's life? And when the Iraqi suicide attacks started mounting, was it recklessly indifferent to the lives of the soldiers when Bush flung a challenge into the insurgents' teeth like, "Bring it on"? You tell me. In California, there's a case called People v. Williams, where the jury was asked to decide a case. Mary and her sister Joanne went to Tillman's house. They both had guns, but Joanne stayed outside in the car. Mary went inside, started a fight with Tillman, and pulled a gun on it. Tillman grabbed the gun, and while he and Mary were struggling over it, Joanne came into the house. At that point, Tillman had the gun pointed at Mary's face, and Mary yelled, "Shoot him! Shoot him!" which Joanne did, causing him to become dead. Joanne and Mary were both charged with murder. Whom did the jury convict? The jury convicted Mary for starting the gunplay and acquitted Joanne, who actually shot Tillman because she was defending her sister's life. If we change the facts just a little, we can see the similarities with the case of People of California versus George Bush. Just assume that when Joanne tries to shoot Tillman, he wrests the gun away from Mary and shoots Joanne himself in self-defense. Tillman would be acquitted, and Mary would be convicted of causing her sister's death. Similarly, in California, Bush could be held guilty of causing the death of American soldiers who died fighting Iraqis who were defending their homes. And that is the end of part 1.